MIRAD is now holding its final conference, and its purpose, as the name implies, is like a cross-sectoral approach. Cross-sectoral approach to prevent radicalization, violent extremism, towards ensuring disengagement, and later on the stabilization of offenders in society, or should we say of individuals, ex-offenders in society.
We are the main organizer of the final conference of the MIRAD project, which is taking place today in Brussels. We are celebrating the end of the project, and the main goal is to disseminate all MIRAD products and results to the broader audience. We gather different practitioners from various countries, mainly from prison and probation sectors, but also from non-governmental organizations and research and academia.
The project developed 4 big pillars. One, to ensure that community organizations are more involved within the project to assess their trustworthiness and credibility, so governments can trust their work to ensure that individuals have a decent follow-up once their sentence is finished, and then train practitioners on the use of such tools, as well as risk assessment tools, which are tailored to the gender dimension and also to different ideologies. As the name of the project implies, multi-ideological radicalisation assessment, and for right-wing extremism and Islamist extremism. And apart from that, also ensuring that individuals can be stabilized in the society to evaluate rehabilitation challenges, which indicators are hindering the successful rehabilitation and the follow-up in these programs that are applied in prison later on by community organizations, and also to ensure at a later stage, as always we did here, that collaboration protocols are well structured between the different stakeholders that we engage throughout the project that are also here today.
The work package 2 that we were leading was to answer a specific question regarding trust as far as the cooperation of criminal justice organizations with the prison system. So what we tried to answer in specific was how can we facilitate the existing cooperation between those two aspects. The first thing that we tried to do was to create an NGO database where the existing organizations could be identified and found. This was step 1. The second step was the creation of a specific tool, an assessment tool, which we call the NGO trustworthiness tool, in order to be able to, for specific organizations such as the prison systems, to identify with which organizations that can start initiating their cooperation. So bridging this gap usually is a gap of trust. What we try to do here is to initiate discussion on how to bridge this gap.
Our primary responsibility was to form and facilitate the KES Council. That stands for Knowledge, Experience, Skills, and Stakeholders. Where there were 7 individuals from 7 different countries representing the interests of and perspectives from public organizations that work in corrections and criminal justice, in research and planning, and also in NGOs. Those people were tasked with trying to provide input to the tool that has been developed by MIRAD to assess the trustworthiness and competence of NGOs. And they worked really hard to find the kinds of things that were necessary for public organizations to have confidence in NGOs to offer partnerships and input to the reintegration of violent and terrorist extremist offenders.
Under Work Package 5, we had to establish the variety of instruments and protocols there that regard multi-agency cooperation in all European countries, as well as the countries outside of the Union that we covered, and then come up with an assessment of the needs of practitioners in terms of this multi-agency cooperation. Such an assessment hasn't been done before, and it was really important for us to do it diligently in order to be able to inform the European Commission and other practitioners and research throughout Europe about the level of engagement that there is in the field. Another major aim was to establish transition protocols baselines that will enable the development of national policies with regard to multi-agency cooperation regarding rehabilitation, disengagement and reintegration of violent offenders.
The MIRAD project really had 3 main objectives in terms of training. First, we wanted to deliver a train-the-trainer e-learning to give practitioners tools and knowledge to cascade the knowledge learned throughout the project and also make sure that they can spread it to their colleagues. Then we had an e-learning on radicalization prevention, implementation, and assessment and intervention. So with these, we rolled out an e-learning to over 700 practitioners, of which 250 finished. We had amazing feedback, we had amazing results in terms of effectiveness that we're still going through. And then finally, we wanted to create radicalization assessment training scenarios through VR, and we created case studies considering gender, setting, risk level, and we had a training in Portugal, in Lisbon first, to pilot these scenarios and later fine-tune it, and now at the end they were replicated in national cascade training events with national practitioners, also again with the aim of fine-tuning them and further improving them.
The MIRAD project, from our point of view, is another support to help civil society organisations, really crucial to reintegration generally, but to specific target groups like violent extremists, to work within the prison walls and to support prisoners with specific needs on their pathways through the prison and back into communities. I was also a member of the KES Council. We were really pleased to be involved in supporting how this was built as an assessment tool, and I think it's really crucial that all the different partners, prisons, probation, society organisations were represented within this remit.
I think it is so important, not just the disengagement and de-radicalization work that MIRAD offers, but the entire pathway towards rehabilitation. If we can't offer people in prisons, those at risk or susceptible to violent extremism, a way back to our communities across Europe, it's very hard to be able to de-radicalize and show them a better way. One of the most important things I believe that MIRAD is doing is not just metrically showing us how we can work with de-radicalization, but a positive way forward to actually achieve that. It's incredibly important, and I hope this work can continue both in Europe and beyond.